Did the Senate just propose a $4,000 stimulus check? This is a Wednesday, May 20th update. Thanks for tuning in. This is LALATE. As always, like and subscribe to this channel and drop your comments below, and we may feature them in tomorrow's update. But first, the news. As you know, there's a lot of channels out there that talk about stimulus check, stimulus package, second stimulus check. But one of them today published a story by the title of the following, quote, Senate just proposed $4,000 stimulus check for workers. Fascinating. If you're like us and follow the news on a regular hourly basis, this sort of came as a shock because I had not heard that the Senate had proposed a $4,000 check for workers. In fact, is anything correct in this title? No. First of all, the Senate did not propose anything. Today, a news story surfaced online that several senators came up with a proposed bill, not the entire Senate. Second, and the most egregious part of this title, is that there is no $4,000 stimulus check. The title of this article, this channel's video today, which has been very well watched, this video, was Senate just proposed $4,000 stimulus check for workers. What does that mean? That title means that a check has been proposed as part of a bill. A $4,000 check. Let me repeat again. A $4,000 check. Nothing can be further from the truth. No $4,000 check was proposed by members of the Senate today. First of all, let's digress and go over all these elements. If you don't know, members of certain channels have made a lot of money over recent weeks in giving clickbait, luring you in with titles of stimulus check and stimulus proposal and stimulus package update, and have digressed into talking about everything from Bitcoin to the cup that they're sipping out of, when in fact you really get nothing about anything from the video you just clicked on. This one was perhaps the most egregious because there is no $4,000 stimulus check for workers that was proposed today, and the Senate did not propose anything as a totality either. So what's going on here? Today, Senators Amy Klobuchar, Ben Sasse, Cory Booker, and Tim Scott released a plan on how to boost the economy. The bill that they proposed in a statement would help Americans in demand for years to come and position them rapidly to re-enter the workforce with increased earnings potential as soon as businesses begin hiring again. So what did they propose? Did they propose a $4,000 check, Mr. Clickbait? No. Is there any check? No. Is there any money? No. What do they propose? A $4,000 tax credit. When did a tax credit become the word check on YouTube? Is a tax credit a check? No. Is a tax credit something that you reduce on your taxes, some form of payment from the federal government? No. Are you getting a direct deposit of $4,000? No. Are you getting a paper check of $4,000? No. Are you being sent anything in the mail for $4,000? No. Is anyone being sent $4,000 under this proposed $4,000 stimulus check? No. In fact, it's not a check, it's not a stimulus, and it's not being proposed by all members of Congress. In fact, nothing in this title is accurate. What was proposed today was a $4,000 tax credit. It's unfortunate in these days and times when a lot of you are dependent upon funds from the federal government, funds from your state, whether it's PUA or unemployment, or from the federal government, the $600 of the CARES Act that come to you on a weekly basis on top of your PUA benefits, or EIDL grants or EIDL loans, and you need that money very quickly and you need it now. That there are some that are making videos where the title is completely inaccurate. This title was inaccurate. So let's go over, if you are interested in a tax credit, which I'm sure you aren't, what the proposal was. Sasse said we have to make sure that Americans have skills to need to compete. So he basically says he's not going to pay you, Senator Sasse. He thinks you need skills. What's your reaction to Senator Sasse? Senator Booker says it would ease the barriers to re-entering the workforce. So Senator Booker thinks that you can't re-enter the workforce unless you have skills. Hardly. These senators know that you need checks, whether it's $1,200 or $2,000 or $2,000 for 6 months. But a tax credit is a whole different ball of wax. And so what are they proposing? They are proposing a $4,000 tax credit to people who lost their job to be used for training, such as apprentices, certificates, and 2 or 4 year programs, including online training through 2021. So basically, they want you to go study and not give you a check. They want to give you a tax credit. Now, you know what's wrong with that? And so to tell people who are in desperate need of a $1,200 or $2,000 stimulus check, they were owed that under the first CARES Act draft. The original was to call for 2, but you were given 1. To tell them, hey, go study, we'll give you a deduction or a credit, is unfortunate. It really is unfortunate. It is not something to be praised among members of Congress. It is certainly a nice supplement, but it is not a stimulus check. It is not what Americans need. It is not what you need. In fact, the reaction to this bill was overwhelmingly negative on social media today. The reason is very simple. Get to work and do what you're supposed to do, members of Congress. Get people checks. Get people stimulus checks where the check actually arrives in their hand or in their bank. Don't make excuses that you want them to do something else and then give them a reduction on something as a credit or an itemization on their return in 2021. How outrageous is that? It's just outrageous. People have been watching this channel because they've not gotten the EIDL grant, they've not gotten the EIDL loan, and now members of Congress want to be praised, 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans, because they want to give you a tax credit to go study because they think you are unskilled. Viewers of this channel are certainly skilled enough. They're very skilled. They're also skilled to know how to fill out an EIDL grant and EIDL application. They're very skilled to know what SBA's requirements are to do certain things. They also are very skilled to know that the CARES Act is not being followed by the members of by the SBA. What they're also skilled is to contact their congressmen and their senators and their House of Representatives to say, why is SBA not following the CARES Act? But the response by those members of Congress has been silence, done next to nothing. The irony of the situation is the news stories covering the tax credit also mention the real stimulus bill that we all know that was passed by the House last week. And most of the news articles, like this one from CNBC, actually indicated that the senators are mocking and gleefully smiling in their face that they have no intentions of ever approving the stimulus check program that is actually coming from the House to the Senate. That stimulus check program, as LALATE has detailed this week, is to pay you 1 more check, unfortunately. Not 6 checks, not $2,000 per check, not checks for several months, not checks based upon the unemployment rate, not checks based upon a second pandemic coming later this fall, not checks for anything but really what you were owed back in April. As LALATE has detailed, you were supposed to receive 2 checks of the original CARES Act, 1 for the month of March in the month of April, and 1 for the month of April in the month of May. You got 1 check because the original draft of the CARES Act dropped out the second check, and they said, we'll get to it later. Republicans are not getting to it later. They're not giving you any stimulus checks. And so now they want to give you a tax credit, while at the same time sort of gleefully smiling, you're not getting a tax credit. So as a lot of channels know at this point, there is no stimulus check progressed in the Senate. In fact, you have a bill coming from the House that the Republicans are very, very vocal in saying it's never going to go anywhere. And so far, as of Wednesday, it hasn't gone anywhere. Hasn't gone to a vote, and they're vowing never to make it to go to a vote. So why do we keep on getting stimulus check updates on a daily basis, actually on an hourly basis for some channels, about something that's just not happening, or telling you something that's just not the case? It's unfortunate, because in times like this, you need the funds, and you're not getting them. So there you go. Senate just proposed a $4,000 stimulus check for workers today. Greatest title ever today. It's totally untrue. Senate didn't propose it as a totality. There was no check in the mention of the bill. It's not a stimulus check. And to categorize or suggest that a tax credit for people who are in need of a check is the same thing is unfortunate. This is LALATE. Drop your comments below. What do you think? How outrageous do you think a tax credit is from both parties, calling you unskilled, not giving you an actual check? Drop your comments below, and we'd love to feature them in tomorrow's recording. As always, Stay for LA for more.